My topic is I am the change. We are all Indians. We have lived in India. And for years we have seen many countries passing us by. Japan, Taiwan, Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, China. Every country has surpassed us. There were some countries which were behind us, like South Korea. In 1947, we were 4 times higher than South Korea in per capita GDP. Today, it is 16 times higher than us. In 7 decades, South Korea has left us behind by more than 60 times. In 1984, India and China were of similar size. Today, it is 7 times higher than us. In 28 years, China has outperformed us by 7 times. Clearly, there is something which we haven't done right. It's not that we haven't done anything. We can today put satellites in orbit at a much lower cost than even NASA. We have lifted crores of people from below poverty line. We are the largest producer of milk in the world, fruits in the world, pulses in the world. So we have done a lot. But when I compare vis-a-vis others, we haven't done a lot. We have created in India 7% Australia. 7% of Indians are living like Australians. 20% are living like Filipinos. And 73% are living like below sub-Saharan Africa. We have done a lot since independence, but when I compare vis-a-vis others, we have not done enough. Now, what can we do as individuals to change this? That's my topic. It's so easy to blame the government for everything, but is there something which you and us can do to change India? The first thing which we have to do is to be a proud Indian. Proudness of Indian is not by wearing Indian clothes. I am wearing this clothes because my wife gave. That's the secret of my happy married life. I'm sure you would have heard this joke, which I had heard when I was a kid. There was an Indian crab exporter. He was exporting crabs to rest of the world without putting any cover on the container or sealing the container. Because every time some crab would like to move up, others will pull him down. Have you heard that joke? Now reflect it otherwise. How many times when we see something good in India, we utter to ourselves, ये इंडिया जैसा तो लगता ही नहीं है. If we are not going to be proud about our own country, then how can country prosper? There are many research done about why countries have moved from emerging nation to developed nation. And it's not related to natural resources, it's not related to IQ of people. It's simply related to character of the people. If we are proud about our country will prosper. The second thing which we have to learn is be Indian, buy Indian. Now, world is globalizing. And in that kind of scenario, I am talking about Mahatma Gandhi's Swadeshi movement. Is it worth talking about be Indian, buy Indian? Answer is yes. Today, when we buy Indian goods and services, the jobs, development, growth happens in India. But when we buy goods and services which are manufactured or provided in foreign countries, the jobs, development, growth happens over there. Shouldn't we be creating jobs in India? Shouldn't we be creating development in India? In a global world, it will be impossible not to trade with others. But we should not trade beyond our means, beyond what we can afford. Today, as Indians, as you and me, we are consuming $60 billion worth of Chinese goods, more than what we are exporting to them. Can a nation like India afford this? Answer is clearly no. And rather than waiting for government to do something, why can't we begin? The third thing is related to a very simple thing. In your geography book, I'm sure you have been taught that India is an Asian continent, right? They are still teaching that in geography. I was also taught the same thing. But when I came to market, I realized that India is in Africa. It's not in Asia. Our tax payment standards are as poor as many of the African nations. By no means we can say that we are an Asian nation, because our people refuse to pay their fair share of tax. There are many Indians who still believe that India is ruled by foreigners, and hence they don't pay tax. Now, without citizens paying tax, how will government create infrastructure? So, as citizen, you must pay your fair share of tax. Today, you may request your parents to pay their fair share of tax. Tomorrow, when you become taxpayer, please pay a fair share of tax. Let's migrate India from Africa to Asia. The fourth thing is about, and I'm a mutual fund manager, I manage people's money, so I have to talk about money. It's all about saving and investing wisely. India is not a nation which saves as much as Chinese. And that's where in 28 years, they have outperformed us 7 times. But more importantly, we are also lousy investors. Why do I say that? We all have some obsession with a yellow metal gold. We don't produce even 1 gram of gold in this country. But we all have love for it. In last 17 years, we have imported $420 billion of gold. This is more than money received from foreign direct investors or foreign portfolio investors. India is a patient which is not doing well, and yet it is giving blood transfusion beyond its mean to outside world. How can our country grow if we continue to fall in love with gold? This 3-4 things, will it make a big difference in changing orbit of India? Answer is clearly no. There are many more things which we have to do. But if I start dictating all those things, then you'll be here waiting till tomorrow morning. Let me round off my talk by sharing few things. Today, United States of America is a superpower. How did they become superpower? And let me link it again with gold. In 1929, US came under Great Depression. People were losing jobs, the country was becoming poorer. At that point of time, to come out of trouble, to come out of depression, US Fed needed to print money. But in those days, for every dollar printed, US Fed had to keep some gold as a backup. Now, you want to come out of depression, you have to print money, but for printing money, you require gold, and for buying gold, you require money. US government didn't know how to break the logjam. 4 years they suffered. One fine evening in 1933, their president, Franklin Roosevelt, nationalized all the gold owned by Americans. He just passed a law criminalizing owning of gold in the entire territory of United States of America. You must be wondering, that kind of law, how people would have responded. It didn't even become a headline. It was a back page item. Citizens went and surrendered their wedding rings. The American ladies were not wearing Mangal Sutras. They gave gold at below market price to United States government so that they can print dollars, so that it can come out of recession. This is what probably differentiated America versus India. When their country required gold, the citizens delivered. Our country can't afford buying gold, and as citizens, we are not delivering. Is there anything else which we should not do? Yes. We should avoid scoring self-goals. What is self-goal? Let me illustrate in the closing comments of my topic. Have you heard of a gentleman called Ghulam Dastagir? Quite unlikely. He was the assistant station master at Bhopal railway station in December 1984. You remember December 1984, where Union Carbide plant leaked out poisonous gas. Their factory was situated near the railway track. Those were the days where there was no WhatsApp, there was no 24/7 television. Just smelling air, Ghulam Dastagir realized that there is something wrong. He immediately took the call of releasing the train which was at Bhopal railway station. This was probably for the first time in the history of Indian Railway, a train departed before the scheduled departure time. He also stopped all the trains coming from Mumbai side into Bhopal, else they would have passed through Union Carbide factories, poisonous gas cloud. He also stopped all the trains coming from Delhi into Bhopal, else the same fate would have met them. He saved thousands and thousands of Indians' life. As the night passed, more and more people were coming to Bhopal railway station. He kept on sending them to various hospitals. His own family was staying next to Union Carbide factory. He didn't bother about them. Some of his family members actually died. Throughout the night, because he was serving people, he inhaled that poisonous gas, and his own health got impacted later on. For doing this great job, do you think he deserved Bharat Ratna, saving lives of thousands of Indians, going beyond the call of duty, doing a job which all of us will believe was a great work? Well, he didn't even get Padma Shri. Forget them. Even we don't remember who Ghulam Dastagir is. In fact, some of the lawyers who fought for Union Carbide are given Padma Vibhushan title, the second highest civilian recipient of this country. People who are fighting for Union Carbide are getting Padma Vibhushan. People who served the nation are not even being remembered. That's how ungrateful nation we have become. Let's remember people like Ghulam Dastagir. Let's make them Bharat Ratna. If you avoid scaring such self-goals, then automatically the country will prosper. These are very, very small changes which are required from you. It won't change the entire country, but if you even begin like a candle light, that's good enough to dispel the darkness. Thank you.